The other person that they asked me to introduce is Rocky Kuchenmeister. And to the committee, I wrote back to them, who's that? No, I'm just kidding, Rocky. Rocky and I just had a conversation about hiring and retaining and mentoring and building a bench of people so you're not caught in this glut of not having, people retire and you don't have anybody to fill in those positions. And I just stand there and listen to Rocky talk because he's just so insightful and so smart. And I tease him and make fun of him, but he really is. So this is what I wrote to the committee about Rocky. Rocky started at the bottom at KE, answering phones and working as a receptionist. Now he's a general manager, huge advocate of all NAED education programs, and he knows how to build a successful career and a successful company. Here's Rocky. Which way are you going, man? Yeah, that's good.
Don't want to trip up.
No.
Thanks, Scott, for the incredible introduction. It's obvious after years of having conversations with one another that you clearly don't know me very well. First off, I want to thank you. I won't take too much of your time. I realize I'm the guy standing between you guys and the bar, or possibly for young mothers and fathers, maybe an early night's sleep. And I know specifically for the table in the very back that I'm sitting at, a piece of cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory a block away. So I'll keep it short and sweet like I like it. I was asked to discuss leadership and career growth in the electrical distribution industry. Leadership, in my opinion, is an interesting skill. Although you can be a talented leader, I believe a true leader is not born, but made through years of personal growth. Can everybody hear me? Okay, sorry. The growth starts at a very young age and continues long after retirement. The conference we're going to celebrate the people who earn their 30 under 35, but this is really a leadership conference for young individuals, and we're going to celebrate everybody in this room. My guess is most of the individuals sitting here were leaders long before they ever had a management position. Much like them, my growth started very young and continues to this day. Along the way, I learned a few lessons on how to lead and about myself. And I'd like to share just one of those stories with you. So I'm going to take you back in time. It's 1987. I'm 7 years old. I am clearly the smallest kid in my class. I'm about 4 feet tall, about 50 pounds, little scrawny little runt. At the time, I had hair. Thanks, Scott, for the quote on hair. I had hair, and believe it or not, it was red. It was not just red, it was Ronald McDonald red. It was like out to here. So I was the smallest kid in my class, scrawny, got picked on a lot, red hair. My parents sent me away to summer camp, obviously without my parents. I think they were just trying to get rid of me. So I was a quiet kid, introvert. I know you guys are probably laughing inside, especially those that have known me for years. I'm clearly an outgoing person now, but at the time I was an introvert. So I go to summer camp, and one of those days we go on a hike. And it's just a day hike. We go on a hike, and the whole intent is we go on this like 1 mile hike. We're all like second graders, third graders. We go on this hike. And we're just going to build a campfire, roast some marshmallows, and then go back and sleep in our cabins. So while the camp counselors are building this fire, we get a little free time as kids. So all the kids are running around being typical kids, playing tag, whatever. And I'm walking around. I don't have a ton of friends. So I find this hole. And this is an incredible hole. Literally, I climb in this hole. It's got kind of a ramp going down into it, but I climb in this hole, and it's literally up to my neck. So it's got to be, 3 feet tall, and it's like twice as big as me. Literally, I can lay down in it, and it's just a gigantic hole. It's next to this gigantic tree, and I'm looking at it, and I'm just pondering and thinking about it, and I decide I'm going to make a home for an animal. This is my second grade mentality at this point. I'm going to make a home for an animal. I don't know what I'm going to make a home for, whether it's a deer, a raccoon, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm going to make a home for an animal. I'm thinking about something other than myself. So I look around, and it's a forest, so I see a bunch of limbs just falling on the ground. So my little 50-pound body just goes over and starts dragging these limbs over top this hole. And I get about 2, 3, 4 over this hole, and couple of the boys come over to me, and they walk across these limbs that I've laid across this hole. And they say, "Oh, so you're building a bridge?" And I go, No, I'm building a home for an animal. I don't know what, I'm just building a home for an animal. And they kind of look at me and kind of look at the hole, and you could see they're actually thinking about this. And they go, "Okay, can we help?" "Okay, yeah, I could use some help." So they go and they start searching for these limbs, and you can just imagine these like 50, 60, 70-pound kids literally dragging these, they're not trees, but they're these limbs across this hole. Literally, you have to climb into the hole to drag it across the hole. And we drag a few more. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I talk with my hands. I apologize. So we get a few more, and then a couple more boys come over. And they drag, and they climb across it, and like, "Oh, you guys are building a bridge." One of the other boys pipes up, No, we're building a home for an animal." And they look, and they go, "Okay, can we help?" So sure, the more the merrier. So they start grabbing. Eventually, more and more kids come over, and everybody thinks it's a bridge. We tell them it's a home for an animal. Eventually, we catch the attention of the counselors, and these are just teenage boys and girls, and they come over and they go, "Well, what are you guys doing?" So we're building a home for an animal. So they go, "Oh, that's kind of cool. It's camp. It's you're doing camp kind of things." So they round up the rest of the boys, and sure enough, all of us finish this little structure that we're building. And the rest of the night, we sit by the campfire, we're roasting marshmallows of goo going down our face, and just talking about what animal could live in this little structure. It could be a deer, it could be a bear. I mean, it was that big. It could be a bear, it could be raccoons, but we had a great time. Now, I know that's a little parable, but, I learned a couple things from this situation. First off, this was probably the first time in my life that I was a leader, that I stood up and a leader. Nobody gave me a position. I wasn't elected by my peers. There's no, vote or anything like, we're doing with the Republican National Convention right now. There was nobody, no manager came to me, no camp counselor came to me and said, "You're going to be a leader today. You're going to be No, I just did my thing. One of the most important things I learned as a leader that day was that you lead by example. I was the smallest kid, clearly. I mean, I was the smallest kid 2 years younger, and I just did my job. I picked up the branches, I dragged them across, and laid them on. Great leaders don't just talk the talk, they walk the walk. I wasn't given authority, I just led. Most great leaders were leaders long before they were branch managers, they were warehouse managers, they were owners, they were CEOs. They were leaders long before. They were leaders out of grade school, out of middle school, out of high school, out of college. I believe that the people sitting in this room, the people that came to this conference, are those type of people. True leaders don't need titles. I've got a title. I'm an owner, I'm a general manager. But if you ever walk down in any one of my branches, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know my position. I wear jeans just like the guy on the floor. I wear a t-shirt just like the guy on the floor. I lead by example. If there's a piece of paper on the ground, I pick it up. If there's a toilet that needs to be cleaned, I clean it. The second lesson I learned was that you have to have a vision beyond the norm. So many of us in this industry, we're spinning our wheels. We need to have a vision beyond what everybody else is thinking. Everybody else wanted to build a bridge. I was thinking of somebody else. I wanted to build a home. Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Sometimes we do that. And I bet it's probably not the people sitting in this room, it's probably the people not sitting in this room that are spinning their wheels, trying to figure out how to fill their employees, why their average age is 55, 60, 65, and they're trying to figure out how to hire you guys. We're spinning our wheels, but we can do different things. You have to have the vision to build homes instead of bridges. Have the vision to look at the same problem and willing to take the risk to change, not for the sake of change, but to expect a different and much better result. During the course of the next few days, I just shared a story. I want you to share your stories, because I'm betting there's some pretty exciting people sitting in this room, and I want you to share them with each other. Share how you became a leader. Talk about your second grade or third grade summer camp experience, or your middle school experience, or that moment in college when you realized you were a leader. I want you to grow with each other. I want you to become better leaders together, because your journey's not over. Just because you're a CEO or a branch manager, you're not done learning to be a leader. Most of all, I believe the people sitting in this room can improve the electrical distribution industry together. Thank you.